We have another new month here, the month of November, and of course, Pokemon is upcoming on November the 17th. But since it's a new month, one of the exciting things that they do is book haul. Okay, and like I said in the last video, I have a budget of 2,000 pesos. So let's check out the books that I've got here. So you see here the different packages that I obtained. They're from one is from a book sale, and the rest are from various Facebook pages that sell secondhand books. Okay, so let's begin. The first one, so this is from Booksale, and let me open this. I believe this contains the book known as uh, by Neal Stephenson, known as uh, Quicksilver, which is, I believe, book one of the Baroque cycle. So I'm a huge fan of Neal Stephenson. The last book that I read from him for the month of October was his latest Rise and Fall of Dodo with Nicole Galland. And the things that I haven't read from him is basically the Baroque cycle. It's a trilogy of novels and Rimdi. Okay, and I found a copy in Booksale, book one of the Baroque cycle, Quicksilver. So I know that this is set during the time of Isaac Newton, and during the time when superstition and science was like they still was hand in hand, and science was like trying to overtake or like introduce its methods to the public, and so later on, people now the way people think is now rooted in the scientific methods. Okay, so this is an awesome copy, and of course it's secondhand because it's book sale. The other one I got here, let me see, dialogue with darkness. So I love anthology works, and this is a bunch of short stories from the famous sci-fi author Poul Anderson. So that's that. We have here the Dancing Woolly Masters. Okay, so this is a very famous. It's an old book, but a famous one on, say, laymanized book on particle physics. So, yeah, I haven't read it. It's a famous book. So now that I have a copy, so I'm so glad. So those are from Booksale. Next is we have a package from a Facebook page known as Aklatan. Okay. So I love how they package things because they still come with their like individual plastics and so on. So this is Labyrinths of Reason. So it's a book regarding paradox and puzzles, and so it's non-fiction, and I love reading books like this. The philosophies of logical thinking, puzzles, and so on. And it says there it's also about the frailty of knowledge. So I don't really know what it's about, but it has a high rate on Goodreads, and it's like endorsed by Isaac Asimov and Martin Gardner. A very good author of puzzles and stuff. So yeah, I think that's awesome. I have here Ray Bradbury. I think again an anthology by Ray Bradbury, the famous for his Fahrenheit novel Fahrenheit 451, and this contains 22 short stories. And he really he doesn't write only sci-fi. I know he has famous short stories about horror and stuff, but his sci-fi short stories are also good. But I'm not sure if this is pure sci-fi, but this is Long After Midnight anthology by Ray Bradbury. Next, we have, this is awesome. This is volume one of the Hugo winners by Isaac Asimov. So I have a copy. Where's that? Let me look for it. I have a copy of volume 2, right? Which is weird. I found volume 2 first. I actually have a hardbound copy of all of them, but it's too big to carry. So I have this. This has a very fragile pages. So I have a like, I'm very careful when I'm reading this because it's like it's gonna fall apart any minute. So the nice thing is I have an upcoming new copy, so hopefully it's newer than this one. This is a very old copy. But the volume one that I have here, it looks better than that one that I have there. So yeah, so I'm so happy to have that. So I believe it has here Walter Miller's short story that was included in his novel, Canticle for Leibowitz. I forgot the title. And it has the original Hugo winning short story, Flowers for Algernon, which later on became a novel and some other things. So that's awesome. So those are from Aklatan. Okay. And here we have from, I believe, Literati Haven, if I'm not mistaken. So let me get what I have. Let me check what I have from them. I believe two books from them, both anthology, and again they come in this cute little plastic. But let me check. This I always see this in natural bookstore, natural national bookstore, but the new copy is a bit expensive, so I waited for a second-hand one. Stories, an anthology of like speculative, weird fiction, sci-fi, horror, fantasy, by Neal, Gaiman, and Sarrantonio. So I heard good things about this, but I'm so excited to read this. Again, anthology. And next, I have, of course, I have a lot of this back in the province. This is the third Omni book, another anthology of science fiction. Contains a lot of stories here. But the Omni book that I have at home, I believe I have like two or three of these, but I don't think I have the third. So this is awesome to have. So that's from Literati Haven. And finally, the last one and the biggest among them is from the Book Snoop. And again, I'm a regular customer of the Book Snoop. This month though, I didn't order that much. I believe I only have like one because my budget for November is already done. 2,000 pesos only. But we need to control our impulse buying for books. Anyway, it's packed really carefully. So here, bunch of science fiction anthologies again. Let me check. I love anthologies. You're not like required to read them all in one sitting. So what I do is like I jump from books to books. I pick one anthology book, read two or three stories, or one or two stories from there, and then pick another anthology. So I don't like. I don't force myself to finish one anthology at a time unless it's really very good. That rarely happens, but let's look at this. Pilgrimage, science fiction, short stories about, I don't know. I think these are people, trying to settle down in like a new planet or something like that. I think they're like connected little stories. Awesome. I have this is a Hugo Award winning novel in 1972, To Your Scattered Bodies Go. So I haven't read this, so obviously, but usually if I see a novel and it's a Hugo Award winning novel or Nebula, it's an instant buy for me. So you have that. The early Asimov, so the best of Asimov 1954 to 1972. I'm sad that this does not include my favorite short story of his, which is Nightfall, but still. I read most of the short stories here. I believe only like two or three that I haven't read, but it's good to have another copy. Next, we have this one. Again, this one I have a lot of these at home and in my boarding house. Writers of the Future, the yearly anthology of L. Ron Hubbard. And I believe there's someone from Negros Oriental who, because Writers of the Future, they also have like an illustration competition every year, and someone from Negros Oriental won the illustration contest. But this is very awesome to have very underground, some underground works in science fiction. Okay. And last two, A Touch of Strange by Theodore Sturgeon, another classic, famous sci-fi author. another anthology here. I have two of his anthology back in Dumaguete, but I don't have a copy of this one. And finally, we have this. Looks fairly new. It's called The Alien Chronicles. Okay, so science fiction short stories regarding aliens, alien encounter. So the last alien novel that I read was the book reads last month, The Roadside Picnic by the Strugatsky brothers. Very awesome idea of an. Typically, if you have alien stories, they're like first contact or the aliens are here. Roadside Picnic is like after contact. Like the alien didn't care about us, and we were trying to like make sense of the things that they left behind. So I love alien stories. So this is the last book. Okay, so a lot of these books, I spent less than 2,000 for all of these. So again, one last look. Okay, of my book haul for the month of November. Most of them are science fiction. Okay, awesome. So like, I believe I'm gonna be very excited for my book haul for the month of December while I like slowly read through all those books. Okay, so until next time, I'll see you on the next book haul or on the next book review. This is Marvin Flores, a sci-fi addict. Yeah.